the man you've heard referred to as the QAnon shaman outside the Senate chamber. These are not rioters. These are people who wandered over from a political rally.
We will not let them silence your voices.
After the rally, they walked down Pennsylvania Avenue, where organizers had secured a federal permit to hold a legal rally on the grounds of the Capitol.
I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
Once at the Capitol building, things began to get chaotic. Capitol police officers fired tear gas into the crowd. A few at the front of the herd broke windows. Someone opened the doors, and many hundreds of others just walked in.
They're going to make that the story.
Of course, they did make it the story. And at the center of it, the single most famous person arrested that day was a Navy veteran from Arizona called Jacob Chansley, often referred to as the QAnon shaman.
The so-called QAnon shaman.
QAnon shaman.
Someone named Q Shaman.
Jacob Chansley became the face of January 6th, a dangerous conspiracy theorist dressed in outlandish costume who led the violent insurrection to overthrow American democracy. For these crimes, Chansley was sentenced to nearly 4 years in prison, far more time than many violent criminals now receive. What did Jacob Chansley do to receive this punishment? To this day, there is dispute over how Chansley got into the Capitol building. But according to our review of the internal surveillance video, it is very clear what happened once he got inside. Virtually every moment of his time inside the Capitol was caught on tape. The tapes show that Capitol Police never stopped Jacob Chansley. They helped him. They acted as his tour guides. Here's video of Chansley in the Senate chamber. Capitol Police officers take him to multiple entrances and even try to open locked doors for him. We counted at least 9 officers who were within touching distance of unarmed Jacob Chansley. Not one of them even tried to slow him down. Chansley understood that Capitol Police were his allies. Video shows him giving thanks for them in a prayer on the floor of the Senate. Watch.
Thank you, Heavenly Father, for giving the inspiration needed to these police officers to allow us in this building.
Contrast the reality of what Jacob Chansley did in the Capitol building on January 6th, the indisputable facts recorded on video, some of which has never before been seen, with the depiction of Jacob Chansley that you've seen in the media for more than 2 years. He's a terrorist, they said. He should be killed.
Shoot him. Shoot him. Like, you burst into the United States, if he was dressed like bin Laden, would you have shot him?
Shoot him. Shoot him.
Ooh.
It makes you wonder, who are the violent extremists here? Not Jacob.
And they said, we're
welcome. Welcome to another episode of the Nick and CJ Show, or RBN Lives. If somebody else join, we'll call it RBN Live. But I'm one of your hosts. I'm CJ. What's up, Nick?
What's poppin', my friends, my family? It's good to be back. It's good to be back. Nick and CJ, this is about to be a good week. We got a lot to talk about. I had a great trip, and we're going to have a great week here as well. Danny Haifong will be joining us on Friday. Jimmy Dore will be joining us Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern. So I am back on the channel. It was good.
You coming back with a vengeance, man. You coming back with a vengeance, like dropping names. Here we go. Here goes some two aces right here. Go ahead.
So we got to do it. We got to do it big now. We back, and I'm glad you guys enjoyed the speech as well. It was very fun meeting a lot of comrades. I met Andrew. You guys know Andrew from Nick at Night. He's gonna be back next Wednesday on Nick at Night. He's from Seattle. Hung out with him. Big shout out to Andrew. Great guy. Met a few other comrades down there as well, and it's fantastic what they're doing down there. And this is why I'm so passionate about what I do at RBN, because there are people that tell us that we got them to mutual aid. CJ, that's very common. I met people down there that said they was like, let's actually abandon looking for heroes. Let me actually get involved. And people told me multiple stories of how they started doing small stuff to help the working class, and how they felt this burden lifted off themselves once we explained that there are other options. So that's why I continue to do that. And another interesting thing, which is why I'm glad I was there as a citizen journalist. Obviously, I had my speech. I don't know if you played the Shama speech as well, but she lit the place on fire. Like, Shama is really something else, especially when you meet her. Like, I met Shama. Especially like when she's like off the record. Like you can really see how
Oh
small.
yeah.
Like it's the same with Rome. Like it's something else when you meet someone off the records, right? Like I met Rome off the record, and you realize like, man, now all the fuck Rome talks about is helping people. So that shit is like 100% real. Like Shama, that energy is there all the time. There all the time. And also it's interesting seeing it in a much more casual way too. So we got along pretty well. It was a very fun event. But also wanted to give as much coverage to it as possible, because you want to know what I noticed? No media coverage of the event at all. You see how much they cover January 6th? You see how much
but they love. I thought they love. They keep talking about union people and labor.
Yeah.
They just keep saying let's organize around labor, and they miss a labor event.
You want to know who else didn't cover it? A large percentage of the boutique left had his big speech. Shama had his big speech. Chris Hedges sent a great video speech in. There is this guy. I wasn't too familiar with him, but he was brilliant. Mike Foster. He flew from the UK, labor leader, and he's leading the charge with this enough is enough movement, who is trying to draft Jeremy Corbyn into an independent party to abandon labor, because labor are filled with pro-war hawks that are weak leftists that are meant to actually prop up the establishment. They betrayed Jeremy Corbyn. So Mike Foster, this guy in Enough is Enough, is setting up this program in the UK, and he flew all the way from there to meet Worker Strike Back and us in Seattle. And he had a great speech as well, great seminar. None of the boutique left wanted to cover this. You want to know who covered it? Jimmy did, because he asked Shama on his show, and he did.
Yeah, I did see that. I did cover that.
He invited her on to talk about Worker Strike Back, and then we covered it. Then we have friends. I think Due Diligence covered it as well. Obviously, JB.
Yeah, I saw there.
All our network friends covered it, but the big left progressive channels nowhere to be found, guys. Nowhere to be found covering this. Oh man, we can't show socialist MMA speech. Can't have them give our audience any funny ideas. Why is that? Why you guys think that is? I'm legitimately asking. Does that seem like a serious movement? This movement is super excited to have Marianne Williamson on their show. But they don't want to cover Worker Strike Back. They had union leaders there. They had a janitor union that worked for the University of Washington. They was there. They had healthcare workers there. There was a ton of labor activists there. A ton of them. No interest in talking to none of them. They want to talk to Marianne Williamson. Woo, we got that access, baby. Woo, fuck that. Fuck those workers over there in Seattle. I don't give a fuck about those workers over there. I'm trying to cozy up to the millionaire white woman. We're gonna touch on that here soon. CJ, go ahead. I gotta say, because I've been gone for a while.
I intentionally played this clip first because I knew that topic
I got a lot to say
on fire,
yeah.
And that topic is gonna be long. So I wanted to squeeze in this topic first in our introduction, and then we'll get it right into the Marianne Williamson part. But in this, can you believe? Did you see the footage did you see Tucker Carlson footage on this unseen footage before this stream?
I honestly have not been following the January 6th stuff that much, but it's this is new to me, seeing coverage of it. Anyone know my position on it? Like, January 6th was a giant. The way liberals portray it is a giant con job that is done in order to expand the surveillance state. And AOC, her job was to sell that. Oh my God, my life was in danger. Oh my God, these mobs that had a glorified tour. It was, if you guys see the video, that's why you had MSNBC, Morning Joe, and all these liberals. Oh my God, don't show the tapes. What are you afraid? What are you afraid of? They have these the entire event. They got like 1%. 1% of the tapes they released, and those are the ones we see the mobs like, oh, let's fuck shit up. Let's fuck shit up. That's 1%. The rest of it, we see it on Twitter. It's the rest of it is just a group of white people like, oh my God, we at the Capitol. This is great. Man, where's Donald Trump at? Is anyone going to give a speech? They were just there as tourists, glorified tourists. Some of them that was upset, but most of them were just there because they was hanging out at a Republican event. So I have not seen Tucker video, but I am one of the few Americans that do not have a short memory. I remember during January 6th when Black Twitter was mocking the entire event. It was hella fun if you was on Twitter at that time. Because
I don't think I was on Twitter at that time.
We saw the police let these people in. We saw the people.
Oh no, I wasn't.
We saw the police let these people in, and we saw how goofy the event was. Like these people with trucker Trump hats, these people that just having like a fun time, and then they just completely whitewashed and changed the event into a deadly attack. Like, have you guys seen what the United States done to Venezuela? Have you guys seen what the United States done to other countries? January 6th is a fucking joke. And they use January 6th in order to manufacture consent for increased police funding and surveillance powers, which the Capitol Police has now. And guess who was the people that was signing up to do that? AOC. Marianne Williamson. She loves her some January 6th.
Oh, she talks about you. That's one thing she does tweet about a lot. January 6th, or did at least, I should say.
Not interested in talking about Ukraine though, but she loves talking about how dangerous January 6th is. Why do you guys think that's their role? Their role is to do that so the Democrats can justify, oh guys, we want to increase the power of the state in order to go after white supremacists and Republicans. And they'll see, oh my God, my life is in danger. Democracy is in danger. Bernie always says democracy is in danger. And then the Capitol Police and the police take that money and then they use it against the left, black people, and workers. Every single time. And that's what happened. We had indigenous protesters that were protesting line 3. The Capitol Police immediately went after them. But they be taking selfies at Trump rallies and Trump protests. But they think that they spend money on the police to go after white supremacists. It's clown shit. It's political fan fiction that the liberals completely made up. But go ahead, CJ.
Yeah, and we'll get to some more of how they cover indigenous, black and brown, and police protests when we get to the Stop Cop City stuff that just happened a couple of days ago. So when we get to that part, but what's this? That's what you were just referencing.
Yeah, Patrick, I'll just read this real quick. Now, Patrick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Have you seen what the United States has done to Venezuela? Good point. I also say, have you seen what the United States has done to the United States? It's so transparently evil. That's a great point, and that's why whenever people say, "Oh my God, there's a Uyghur genocide," I'm like, have you seen what the United States done to Black Americans and how the police literally label Black activists that were protesting against Cop City? They labeled them domestic terrorists. Yeah. So you guys know how police was working with Israeli soldiers and they were just changing tactics. The same way that Israeli soldiers treat Palestinians, using rubber bullets, labeling them as terrorists, smearing them as violent thugs. That is what the United States literally do to Black Americans here. It's literally a new apartheid where the cops just straight up squash dissent, the same way Israelis do to Palestinians. And you have tear gas that is used against us, which is a war crime. You have civil asset forfeiture, massive theft of possessions, similar to what happened to the Palestinians. You have activists that constantly get their stuff stolen for protesting against the police when they get arrested, right? It's nonstop, and that's why that's such a great comment. But go ahead, CJ. Because look at what they do to us.
Yeah, so to your point, part of the story also, so Tucker Carlson released the footage, but Nick, if just look at any corporate media, from CNN to MSNBC, every single show, they're talking about this. You see what Tucker Carlson's doing? He's just making up lies. He's trying to make it seem like they're all in cleanup mode right now. But we'll just use one video to kind of illustrate the point, and that's this video, MSNBC. Now, remember, this is the same anchor who, when at, I think it was the Iowa caucus and Bernie was winning or something, and she was in the room, and she was like, when she got to Bernie's crowd, she was like, Elizabeth Warren, blah, 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 so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, and it looks like Bernie Sanders has the most. That's the reporter. This is her. Let's listen. MSNBC. This says, now the title says this. Now catch this title. GOP senators and Capitol Police both critical of Tucker Carlson's January 6th report. Meaning it's not just the Democrats.
Warnings from Capitol Police today concerned that Tucker Carlson's airing of a selectively edited video of January 6th will spawn
like the one they had.
Like what you guys was doing. What you guys was doing. So ridiculous.
dangerous conspiracy theories and potentially fuel more violence. In a letter,
They're so ridiculous.
And understand, people, we all have revolutionary education to understand that the term and the phrase conspiracy theory is a blanket term to tell the general public don't believe in whatever they're saying. That's just what that means. It doesn't mean it's false. They caught a bunch of COVID stuff that they're now admitting to conspiracy theories. It just means, from the ruling class, it just means don't believe this stuff. That's all that means.
Letter just obtained by NBC News, the Capitol Police chief went even further, blasting the segment as being, quote, filled with offensive and misleading conclusions about the January 6th attack. Carlson's version of the insurrection is that it was nothing more than, as he put it, peaceful chaos.
Ask yourself, what news organizations do this? Now, podcasters do this. Somebody says something, we'll go on there and say, yeah, somebody so-and-so said that. But who does this so, like, intently? Like, it's a fear. It's like you said something out in the open that nobody can hear. If you feel secure in the evidence you've laid out for your term, you should be going, nigga, please. Have you seen evidence?
Right.
Have you seen smoking gun? That's what you should be doing,
Right.
not this sort of panic. And I'm telling you, Nick, there's a panic from CBS to MSNBC, NBC News, all of them. I have them, but I'm not going to play them all. I'll just play this one because of who they bring on. They bring on an analyst, and let's see who they bring on right here.
To support that, he showed this video, protesters mostly milling around the Capitol, describing it as proof it was neither an insurrection nor deadly. But it was pulled from 44,000 hours of security camera video, and we don't know how it was edited, and frankly, neither do security officials. Although Carlson claimed they'd run...
Right. That's just a term. Like, it could be true. Like, they don't know because nobody knows. Like, you're just making a statement. FBI doesn't know. RBN doesn't know. Like, nobody knows the answer. But this is a propaganda tactic. You tie your opinion to an expert, and that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna bring in a so-called legal expert in a second. But that's a propaganda tactic.
Run all the video by the Capitol Police. A source tells NBC News they only saw one clip. Carlson, meanwhile, downplayed images like this, describing it as the work of a small number of hooligans and calling majority of protesters meek and orderly. The violence that left 140 officers injured contributed to the deaths of several others.
I didn't know 140 officers were injured. That's the first. I think that's the first time I'm hearing that.
Ooh.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, they were doing their
and
job. Oh no,
hiding and running for their lives was barely mentioned. I want to bring in NBC's Ali Vitale on Capitol Hill, and Frank Figliuzzi is back with me. Ali, I understand
this guy.
Tons of reaction is coming in. What are you hearing?
Yeah, Chris, the reaction is coming in, but it depends which Republican you're asking, and frankly, which side of Congress you're asking those questions on. Because in my conversations with House Republicans in recent days, they've been eager for this footage to come out. In fact, part of the reason why
Nick, so get this. Remember how the squad said, oh, force the vote, didn't get anything. You know how this footage come out? This was one of the things the speaker, I forget his name, Kevin McCarthy, had to agree to release. This is one of the other asks they had. I found that out in another footage that I was looking at. Just amazing.
Carlson has it is because people on the rightmost flank of the Republican Party in the House pressured Speaker Kevin McCarthy during the speakership race to release this footage in the first place. So that's on the House side of this, the way that most Republicans are receiving this footage. On the Senate side, though, much more quick to criticize, and it sounds a little bit like this. Listen.
I think that breaking through glass windows and doors to get into the United States Capitol against the orders of police is a crime to somehow.
We have to understand who the Senate is, and you notice when it comes, this is a propaganda tactic too. That's why I wanted to stop it. When it comes to what she doesn't really, the narrative she doesn't want you to go with, she'll just tell you what they said, like what they do with Vladimir Putin. But when they get it, so that's all of House Republicans is like, no, we wanted this release. They go to the Senate. Remember, the Senate was designed for the plantation owners. These are the richest of the richest people.
Yep.
They're going with the January 6th, like Mitch McConnell. They rolling with that too. So you go to the slave owners group, which is the Senate, and you say, what do you think? And you put them on video, because no matter how much you say what somebody else said, if you have a person's face and you see them saying the words, it's way more memorable. So they want you to retain this and forget all the mumbo jumbo she said about all the Republicans in the House who are for the release of this footage. I think we'll play it a little bit here, a little bit more.
Put that in the same category as a permitted peaceful protest is just a lie.
I think it's bull. I was down there and I saw maybe a few tourists, a few people who got caught up in things. But when you see police barricades breached, when you see police officers assaulted, all of that, or you had to be in close proximity to it. If you were just a tourist, you should have probably lined up at the visitor center and came in on an orderly basis.
And then, of course, there's the reaction, Chris, that we're getting not just from elected lawmakers, but from Capitol Police and rank and file here themselves. We've seen on Twitter in recent days and recent hours, officers who were injured on January 6th showing what happened to them after that day. And then, of course, a letter from Tom Manger, the head of the Capitol Police, to his officers at one point saying the program last night conveniently cherry-picked from the calmer moments of our 41,000 hours of video.
So I'm going to stop the video here and end the introduction, but there's no need to prolong the point because you see it in the segment, Nick. What is the need for you? You know how many times Tucker Carlson goes on his program and says a bunch of lies? Why is the freak out for this? It's because they're losing their narrative control. They're losing narrative control, and has to do with Trump. Go ahead. It feels like.
And also, you have to remember another reason for this is the general election about to start. Remember for the midterms, that's when they really ramped up the theater. They had a January commission that was live on TV. Then after the midterms, just kind of like stop. They're like, oh, whatever. We're not to promote that much no more. It goes in waves because they have to plan it. They can't go too hard all the time. They'll lose momentum. So they're like, all right, let's plan it for these big events. So CPAC just happened. There's a lot of talk about the general election now. So they're gonna continue. They're gonna try to continue to run on January 6th, and it's gonna work awful for them. I saw a segment on MSNBC. I saw it on Morning Joe that I may prepare for later this week, where there was like they were talking about Trump when he was talking about Ukraine, and Trump being ridiculous as he is, he was making crazy statements like, I want peace in Ukraine. I can make it happen in one day. Like, it's ridiculous statements that we know that he's not going to do, but it's still like good. It's good that he's saying, I want peace. I'm an advocate for peace. And they're like, oh my God. And they had Jen Psaki on there. They're like, oh my God, Trump is I saw that. and that is a sign that that's going to be their campaign strategy heading to the general election, is to paint Donald Trump as being some sort of Russian sympathizer. They're going to escalate January 6th again. That's going to be their strategy as they continue to fund Ukraine, as Trump showed to East Palestine. It just shows how our electoral politics game is an absolute fucking joke. Absolute joke. And I have another quick statement I can do, unless you have any final. No,
you can. I'll do a final thought, then announcement, and then you can do your quick story. But I don't understand, why can't people just see the footage and they decide on their own? Like, why do you have to hide this footage? It makes it suspicious. Like, why couldn't you put out the footage that showed them just walking around? Why didn't you put out the footage that showed police, literally, we see them going from door to door. Oh, this door doesn't work. Let's go to a different door, and just walking with him.
It's the same reason why.
Go ahead. Why? Like, why are they doing that?
It's the same reason why they can't tell the whole story about Ukraine, Russia. They have a very specific narrative they're playing on January 6th. And anyone who's been paying attention from day one, like we did, and we saw it as it happened live, we know it was a joke. We know the Capitol Police was in on it. We know they let them in. We all know these people were mostly just drunk rednecks. A lot of them was members of the bourgeoisie who just wanted to tour Capitol Police. But once again, the narrative they need to plant is that Trump supporters and Republicans are violent, even though you just heard that person say, "Why didn't we just kill? Why don't we just kill? Hillary Clinton. Why don't we just do in the time?" That person said, "Why don't we kill that protester? Right, the January 6th protester. Why don't we just kill them?" But they want to paint Trump supporters as violent. Both parties are ran by unhinged, violent thugs, but they just got paint the other one as the violent one, right? And they say, "Oh, we can't. Oh, the American populace violence is never an answer, but we will engage in violence. Let's kill the January 6th protesters." And so the reason why I say that is not because I want to let you guys know that both parties are, and that's why we can't allow these narratives to influence our opinions at all. Like that's why we got the boutique left that repeat stuff like this. They tweet about January 6th all the time. AOC and the progressives lost interest in tweeting about Medicare for all, but they love tweeting about January 6th. AOC was damn near live streaming it. She wasn't live streaming Working Strike Back. She wasn't live streaming the Medicare for all event, but she was live tweeting the fucking January 6th trials because that's their job, to be the PR wing of the Democratic Party. The same way there's no tears on the migrant border, despite the fact that there's a border industrial complex boom under Joe Biden. And you had Joe Biden that's going to continue Donald Trump's migrant policy, which that's our next segment. But I'll pass you.
Yes. Okay. We're thinking the same thing because that's the segment I had to I dropped out because I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna have enough time because I was
sure CJ has stuff on this too, so I think this is
good.
We have some fun after that, but go ahead, CJ.
Yeah, good that you got that coming out. So all right, so here are a couple of quick announcements. Here is our website. Make sure you check it out. I'll give you a quick look at it right now. This is the home page. You scroll down, you'll see our story. You'll see like some of the pillars of what we our belief, and then who we are. That's Rome cutting some unhoused people hair for an event in Detroit, and our latest clip that's actually up to date that was just uploaded. And then our mission, along with this bench that Rome made for some people out in Detroit. You'll get our contact information there at the bottom. And then at the tab there, you can check out the members if you want to do that. You can see all of us and look at, if you click on us, like if you click on Sabby, for example, you'll see her rundown. You see what she has there. You can go to summits. You can check out all of our summits. Just click on which one you want to learn information about. Our outreach. I think right now it's Tour for the Poors. We got to add some more information for the library that Rome is working on. Some more pictures and videos that he's been working on. Then you see some of the events that they've had. You get to scroll through and see some of the community events that we've done. The diaper run was one of the more popular. Oops, I think I clicked on the picture. Diaper run was one of the more popular ones. So. This is where you can go check out all of that information. I'll unshare the website now. And now the rest of the announcements. info@revblacknetwork.com is the email. Don't forget we have memberships now. $3.99 a month is our memberships. And it gives you a couple of extra perks. And we just hit 31,600, so we're at 31,650. So if you're brand new, welcome. Thank you for joining. You may not agree with us on everything, but you'll absolutely believe that we're passionate about our own beliefs, and we do hope that you appreciate that at least. Substack. This is the last thing, or 2 seconds to last. Substack. If you want to get notifications when we go live, when we drop clips, join our Substack. And you will get that sent to your email 4 or 5 days a week. And the last thing, like the stream. 316 is the amount of people we have watching now. Last time I checked, we were around 100 likes. We probably have more now. But let's get to 300 likes. So about 200 more people hit that like button to get us to 300 likes. And I don't know if we had any super chats. I didn't check to see. But we can do that after this.
I think I see 2. I can get 2.
Okay.
I
If you see them, go
I
ahead.
saw two that I starred. Thank you for 499. Nubian X, I'm proud to say I donated and signed a petition at Worker Strike Back, and I encourage everyone to do the same. It's an investment in our future. So, was you at the Seattle event? Because that one was extremely inspiring. Once people hear this message, people are ready for action. That's why I encourage people not to waste their time with stupid electoral politics, vanity project bullshit. Because people are ready. People was there, and I actually was talking to Shama, some people at Work Strike Back, and they was telling me they were like, hey Nick, just heads up, this is like a college campus event, so it's like not even like a leftist thing. Like everyone's open to go. So they said a lot of the audience may be just Democrats.
Yeah.
They said there's a good chance of that happening, and I was like, all right, whatever. I'm gonna radicalize them, and you guys see how they're reacting. and when I was telling them to get involved, they was ready for that. So why can that be our focus? You guys like messaging campaign. We ran a messaging campaign. The message of what? Our message is let's organize for a third party outside coalition that is based on mutual aid and worker solidarity to challenge the establishment. Not someone that we already know gonna drop out and endorse the fucking Democratic candidate. And everyone trying to pretend that's not the case. We'll talk about that later. Later. Thank you for the $2 leftovers. That's why I call you guys number 2, because you're the sheet. That's funny. Very, very funny. Thank you for that. And we read any other super chats after the next segment or two. CJ, anything else? And I can lead.
No, you can start. Yeah, you can go with this short. You said it's you have a
so as we said before, like Marianne Williamson, AOC, these people, they love them some January 6th. They love tweeting about January 6th. That's their number one struggle. Their number one struggle right now is Elon Musk too. They tweet about Elon Musk.
Yeah, they love them some Elon Musk. They love that. That's true.
They tweet about Tucker Carlson all the time. Man, they have these Twitter beefs and feuds with Ted Cruz, right? Operate on a completely different level than they did when Donald Trump was president, because now they gotta do nothing but virtue signaling bullshit, because they are the quote unquote radicals under a Democratic president who they are not allowed to cross. So when you had Donald Trump as president, it's easy to sound radical. Abolish ICE, defund the police, do all this shit. Now Joe Biden is doubling down on all of Donald Trump's policies. Not a goddamn peep. You got them focusing on January 6th and all this other nonsense. And this is the person that Bernie Sanders is ready to campaign for, guys. And I tweeted this out. And I was spreading this around. I said, this is the guy Bernie wants to support. And people were like, oh my God, why are you guys making this about Bernie? This is who you put your flag. This is where you put your flag on. You didn't put your flag with us. You didn't put your flag with Worker Strike Back. I was talking to Andrew, and Andrew was telling me about this amazing indigenous event that he went to in South Dakota. Amazing action.
Bro,
Bernie wasn't there.
Let us know if you need us to add you. Give us a thumbs up if you need us to add
Rome, you ready? Yeah, what's popping, Rome? I hold that thought. What's popping, Rome?
Yeah.
Oh, I got it.
Oh, there he goes. So you on a computer? He can add himself.
Yeah. What's going on, yo? What's going on?
Yo, what's popping? We about to get to that Biden migrant story. Glad you are able to join us. Feel free to chime in with anything, because I'm gonna dive right into this here, because you're not seeing the outrage from Bernie. And the reason why I mentioned Bernie at first, why? I don't know.
My bad. Yeah, my bad. I clicked the wrong thing.
Because this is who you guys are planting your flag on. Like, if you're gonna represent, you're gonna endorse this person, all his sins I'm putting on you. Because RBN predicted all of this. We told you guys that Biden is gonna be just like Donald Trump. And then they point to legislative things that he did not accomplish. I saw that Bernie interview that you covered, where he's like, well, Biden tried to pass all these things. So the fuck what? He's the president, you stupid mother. He's in charge of the executive branch.
Yeah.
So why are you guys giving him credit for things that don't pass in the legislative branch?
Yeah.
Look at what he's responsible for. Like, the president can instill political influence on the legislative branch, voice support for it, and they sign the bill at the end of the day. So that part is important. But that signing part means nothing when the bill doesn't pass, where you don't actually twist the leverage to make it pass. So the Bernie wing, the progressive wing, in order to apologize for Biden, they bring up legislative shit that doesn't happen. They bring up promises that he doesn't keep. while ignoring the power that he has at the executive branch, which is funding ICE, DHS to record levels, that's funding the apartheid state of Israel to record numbers, that bombed Somalia, that continued the genocide in Yemen, that escalating war with China and Russia. These are things that the president is directly responsible for. In fact, he got unlimited dictator-like powers because of people like John Lewis, who punted congressional power and authority to the president on war. Thank you, John Lewis. Very brave of you, right? So that's what I grade Biden on, because I'm serious. Unlike people like Marianne Williamson, who's like, I'm going to challenge Biden for his job, but I'm not going to criticize any of the stuff he's commander-in-chief on. I agree with him on Ukraine, but I'm a serious challenger to him.
This is a part of the strategy, Nick, as far as, bringing up the what ifs and what could be's. Because if you remember, they did the same thing about Barack Obama. Every time we challenge Barack Obama, people on Barack Obama and his supporters, they say, well, he tried to do this and GOP was blocking him on this and that and blah. I'm like, all right, so why did Obama say no to reparations straight up? Right? And they always try to tiptoe around these things. This is a part of the strategy, and they always find some back. They always try to keep the people, you know what I'm saying? They always find a way to keep people eyes and ears on them until it's time to vote again, and then they find a way to for these people to walk through the back doors to the DNC every fucking time.
What's that, Rome? I'm gonna just read a little bit of the article, and I have some receipts to share. And CJ, I'm sure you got a lot, so just feel free.
I'll jump in here or there.
So this is the headline. What super obvious to anyone. RBN has been predicting this stuff. Absolutely shameful. Biden reportedly weighing revival of migrant family detentions. And the subheadline says, and I think they're quoting someone here, immigration attorney. I got one word for them: unacceptable. And you're gonna see a lot of people saying this. I got a few receipts. Got a lot of people that speaking out on this, and I'm gonna speak about this later. And this is my thesis, and this is why a lot of Marianne people are upset. There's a certain point where third-party activists gotta make our fucking argument, and the boutique left is very uncomfortable because RBN is making the argument. They're like, come on, stop making the argument. We can't compete. We can't make a more compelling argument than you. So please stop talking about it. RBN, please stop talking about this giant thing that's happening because we can't compete with you in the battle of ideas. We're going to talk about that later. I'm kind of spoiling it. You guys know. That's funny. So my point is, you're going to have a lot of people say, oh my God, Biden, you're so evil for doing this. Biden, why you're doing this? And then come next year, they're going to endorse this motherfucker. And we're here to call that out. Because I'm gonna show you guys. You already know a lot of these people are. But let's continue the story. Multiple news outlets reported Monday. I'll skip that part because this part they pretty much saying Biden administration considering restarting migrant family detentions. Already covered that. They said no final decision has been made. The move will be a stark reversal for President Biden, who came into office promising to adopt a more compassionate approach to border, which never happened. Deporting more people than Donald Trump. You got Haitians that were tortured at ICE facilities. Just swept under the rug. Karine Jean-Pierre doesn't care, right? Let's
is it because is there a problem at the border? I know there is. I'm making a rhetorical question. Is there a problem at the border? Like, is it an overflow of people? Like, why would this be?
We're seeing the consequences of U.S. imperialism. We've seen the consequences of U.S. imperialism, but neither side can say that. So you have the right wing that engages in the cultural war where they say, oh my God, you have all these migrants that crossing the border and stealing your jobs. Surely it's not the capitalists doing it. It's the migrants at the border. Then you had Democrats that can't seem like they are open border, weak on this. So they actually double down and be more efficient than the Republicans are. Did the same thing that happened with Barack Obama, which is why he was the deporter in chief. And do you guys know that Barack Obama deported more people in his first term than Donald Trump did? So Democrats always overcompensate because they feed in to Republican talking points. That's why neoliberalism emboldens the right. They had to feed into the border industrial complex because Joe Biden said, "Oh, I don't want them to attack us on this," even though they always will. You got Republicans at CPAC and they say this all the time. They say Joe Biden supports open borders. They will always say that. So the fact that they will always say that no matter what your policy is, that shows that you saying that's an excuse. You saying that you have to do this in order not to get attacked, that's an excuse for you doing something that you want to do. Why do people give these people the benefit of the doubt? Jim Crow Joe expanded ICE and created record spending for the border industrial complex, and he's going to continue and double down on Trump's policy because he wants to. Do you guys understand? The Republicans are not forcing him. That's the cover that they use, and that's the common analysis you hear on MSNBC to answer your question, CJ. Rome, CJ, anything else before I continue? I'm gonna quickly read this part, and I got a few other seats.
Rome's things dropped off, so he'll be back.
Oh, sorry.
He has to get a charger and everything. Yeah, I know you're reading the article.
Yeah, okay, so I'll continue. Immigration rights activists were quick to warn Biden again following through on any plan to revive migrant family detentions. Biden said, "I don't give a fuck." That's shown through his actions. If you guys don't know, that's not what the article said. But which the administration had largely shut down. I got one word for them: unacceptable. That's the quote we read. The thing about family detention is not only that it's cruel and inhumane, but also that it's a money pit. Remember the border industrial complex. Like I'm gonna show you guys another critique you never hear from the boutique left anymore. The same white left is like David Doe, David Pacman, all these motherfuckers who's like Donald Trump is a racist. Look at his ICE policy. Look at migrant family detentions. Look at all the deportations. Meanwhile, it happens under a Democrat, no fucks given. And then that's why I laugh at them when they deem themselves as white saviors. They look at RBN and they say, "Oh my God, you can't organize with these people. You can't organize with these people for rallies because they're the bad white guy. I'm the good white guy, even though I support the same thing the bad white guys do." Isn't it funny how they do that? How they anoint themselves as the good ones, even though they support the same goddamn policy? You do by your vote, whether you know it or not. If you vote for this, you support it. It doesn't matter how much you bitch on Twitter. That shit, people think posting on YouTube and Twitter means more than your vote. Like, as long as I vote Biden, if I vote for him, doesn't matter. No, it's like opposite. What I do on YouTube means fucking nothing. If the reason what I say means something is because I don't vote Democrat. I vote Green. I back my actions up. I engage in mutual aid. These people do nothing to back their politics up. They literally engage in the same policy they virtue signaling for, but they want me to deem them the white savior. They want me to deem them the good white one. Nah, RBN not playing it. A lot of people do, though. It's kind of sad when you see it. Feel free to interrupt anytime you want. I'm almost over because
I just wanted to say that I did go and check to see if Humanist Report or Rational National were covering whether or have covered this migrant story, and nothing so far has been.
I expect them. My prediction is I expect at least one of them to cover it. But my point is, it does not matter because you know they're going to vote for these people. You know they are against third parties. They're gonna pretend they support Marianne. They're gonna continue to lie to people about the dirty break. They're gonna continue to lie and gaslight the working class people, and they're gonna tell people to vote for Joe Biden. We all know how this ends. So even if one do make a video about that, what does that say about your morals that you know this and you still vote for Biden? I give people benefit of the doubt, the working class who don't know these people crimes.
Who don't know this yet.
Like there are black people who vote Democrat who just don't know the crimes of these people. You, the smart political analysis, knows everything that Biden has done, but you still tell people to vote for him. You are reprehensible to me. Go ahead, CJ.
This is why my critique of David Sirota. David Sirota should be the number one person saying, "You better not go over there and vote for no damn Democrats." Have you seen my damn article?
Yeah, you read my
shit. He's the number one person who should be saying that, but he's not. That's why I always say, like, what's the use? You got great articles, but you really devalue them. Just because when you go back to the Democrats, so you devalue him. That looks like Rome's back. Hopefully,
yeah, what's up, Rome?
Yeah.
So this is Jacobin. I don't know Hillary Goodfriend that much, so I'm not gonna make any assumptions there. But they called Biden out here. Joe Biden is bringing back Donald Trump's asylum ban at the border. So like this, I'm showing this because like you got the Social Democrats, the DSA left. They see this stuff too. So there's really no excuse if these people turn around and say this is what we must do. We must vote for this guy. Now this is a great tweet against late capitalism. Biden's holding Haitian migrants at torture facilities, by the way, but keep voting Democrat. I'm sure it will change. And this is the story that we covered a while ago. Biden administration seeks a contractor for a migrant facility at Guantanamo. You remember that facility that Barack Obama said he's going to shut down, never did? Oh, yeah, Joe Biden got Haitians there in Guantanamo. No complaints from Ilhan Omar and Cory Booker, our black Congress people, about that. Very interesting, right?
This is the reason why, Nick, and I know Rome can hear us whenever you want to join back. This is the reason why the boutique left, the pseudo left, the NATO left have to go and have this philosophy about voting. Voting is not about your conscience. You're doing a strategy. This is so they can disconnect them giving power to the same imperialists and say, it's not on me. But it is on you, because even if you're voting in progressives, there are progressive Democrats, and adding more progressive Democrats to the team of overall Democrats is bad, because progressive Democrats aren't in leadership. It's still the same corporate imperialist leadership. So adding even progressive Democrats to that group gives the people at the top power. So you are responsible for that. Go ahead, Nick.
And this is another person who's responsible for it. Someone else who's calling out Joe Biden. Good. That's good, right? And someone let me know in the chat, but this guy, one of the people that he part of the Progressive Caucus, Progressive Chicagoan congressman for Illinois' 4th district. Maybe I should fact check that, but I'm pretty sure he's part of the Progressive Caucus. Someone fact check that. But this is his statement in response to the reports that the Biden administration is considering reinstating the migrant family detention. And you want to know what his statement is? I'm so disappointed in you. Joe Biden, I'm so disappointed in you. That's essentially what it says. Let's read it. Once again, the Biden administration is walking back its promise to migrant community. It's unacceptable that this administration would even consider going back to Trump-era policies. Did you not see this coming? And I'm saying this because I have not heard, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know of one progressive member of Congress that did not endorse Joe Biden and does not continue to apologize to him about him to this day. So are we as workers supposed to believe that all the progressive members of Congress were just blindsided, CJ, by Jim Crow Joe? Oh man, Jim Crow Joe's gonna help us. Oh my God, he lied to us. You guys knew it. And I was telling you guys this, and I was smeared and attacked by the Bernie movement. A lot of them unfollowed me and kicked me to the side because I told you guys that you're voting for someone who is exactly like Donald Trump. And then whenever we said that, they were like, oh my God, Red Brown, you just want to depower people from electoral politics. Where are you now? You're
on Trump's payroll. I used to get that. Yeah. You're on Trump's payroll, right?
And then there's continue. Family separation is inhumane and ineffective and should not be used as a weapon against desperate families seeking safety and a better life. As the administration prepares to end Title 42 in May, it needs to work with Congress to create a humane immigration system without jeopardizing the safety of families seeking our protection. So my question, and we all know where this guy stands on this, what does this statement mean if literally in a few months you're going to turn around and say, oh, we got to support Joe Biden in 2024? This is my question. I just wanted to let you consider, because there's no political wedge that you have that stops them from doing this. What I warned you guys, and there's old tweets, I show these tweets all the time. I said, by voting for Joe Biden in 2020, this is why I was telling Washington's fans, they're so stupid, it flew over their head. I told them, by voting for Joe Biden, you're emboldening neoliberalism, and the Democratic Party will shift to the right because they don't need to get your vote. And Washington's fans were like, oh, what are you talking about? This dude's crazy. Spreading a very basic concept. If you vote for these people, they will shift to the right because they don't need your vote. They're going to shift to votes they need. They're trying to get the vote of the white suburbanite. Most white people vote Republican, so they're trying to get those votes. That's why they need to be hard on the border. That's why they need to double down on police policy. And I was explaining it to the white boutique left, and this shit completely went over their head. And something that even Who the MSNBC anchor that was saying this as well? Like, if you vote for Democrats, Chris Matt, it wasn't Chris Matthews. I forgot. Lawrence O'Donnell, wasn't it? I think it was Lawrence.
Oh yeah, Lawrence O'Donnell has the famous video saying like, you know, we don't have to pay attention to the left. Is that the one you're talking about? We don't have to pay attention.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And once again, I'll bring that up because obvious to everybody. Obvious to absolutely everybody. Anything you want to add to this segment, CJ?
Yeah, Biden doubling down on Trump's policy, even when he's not being forced, says what? What does that indicate? And that's the question I think we're going to revisit after we find out what the answer is. Like, what is it indicating? Is it indicating the last thing? Let me say it this way. I was going to say it another way. The last thing that that workers need is a Joe Biden president and a Republican House and or in Senate. That is terrible because Joe Biden don't give a fuck. Oh, 1994 cry bill, let's do it. Oh, whatever. Migrants, he will cut Social Security. He will cut Social Security if he had the chance to and act like, oh, I was put against the wall and that's why I did it. If he had to, he will absolutely do it. I know the video's lagging for you, Rome, a little bit, but if you wanted to chime in on this story before we move on, or go ahead.
Oh man, y'all basically touched everything I was hoping y'all would say if I didn't get the chance to. So ain't really much I got to say, but you know, I do want to say is these voters, they are lying. You know what I'm saying? These people, they don't want to seem like they are evil, but they are evil. These people, you know, they are closet white supremacists. They just don't want to say it right there in front of you. You know, Joe Biden's record, they totally ignore it, even when we blow it in their faces. If we compare Trump to Biden, you know, we're like, okay, well, let's really compare them. Like, well, you can't do that because Trump don't have a record. Okay, then, you know, so they know what they are supporting. They just trying their best to be on the fence about this stuff, so we won't call it out to their face. Because every 4 to 8 years, you're not about to keep telling me that you had to. When we sitting here with the same choices, you know what I'm saying, with the same choices, is either do, you know what I'm saying, build dual power, you know what I'm saying, build up your community, or keep giving these people power. You keep giving these people power, and then you say, oh, damn, my bad. I didn't know that they was going to deport 1 million Haitians. I didn't know that they was going to invade Haiti. I didn't know that they was going to, you know what I'm saying, bomb. Like, come on, man. You know what you are doing. I don't are that naive, you know, because even in the basics of politics, you know, you know, people are killing, you know, people are dying, you know, people are being sent to war. You might have family that's in military. Politics is all around us. And when it comes to life and death, when it comes to stuff like that, you should know, you know what I'm saying? You should know better. But I mean, you should act like you don't know better, but these people don't want to seem like they are evil, but they are white supremacists. I have no I have no faith in these people. I have no trust in people.
This is the reason why they block us. Some of the pseudo left blocks us. It's because they know that some of the stuff is bad that Joe Biden does, and they don't want somebody to keep bringing up the fact. It makes them feel bad about what they're doing. So it's like, I don't want to see it. And they make it seem like we're just being divisive when we're pointing out the fact that they're doing something terrible and participating in it. So great. And
they tend to throw another minority. They tend to throw another minority while they're doing it. They tend to throw another minority group under the bus while they are doing it. Because I remember this argument I had when Joe Biden first took office. I said there's blood on a lot, because he took office and he bombed Syria, I believe. And I was going off. I was like, it's blood on all y'all voters' hands. It's blood on y'all hands. Y'all got these people killed just as well as he did, et cetera, et cetera. And they saying, I didn't vote for Joe Biden to bomb Syria. I voted for him for trans rights. You know what I'm saying? I voted for him for black people. I voted for him for this and that. And like, no, you didn't. You didn't. Stop.
It's a package deal.
Like, you voted for Jim Crow Joe for trans rights. Make that make sense. You voted for Jim Crow Joe for black people. Does that make sense? And stop. And then they say, oh, well, black people are the majority. No. you know what I'm saying? The voting block of black people, like, yeah, they all voted for them, but this is like one of the lowest turnouts that black people ever came out of. And this is I'm sorry, the majority of black people don't vote. And a good percentage of us can't vote. A great percentage of us can't vote. Looking at the prison industrial complex. And Jim Crow made that possible. So yeah, you're not voting for Joe for me. Get the fuck out.
But by ignoring the fact that there are about half of black people who don't vote, they're just erasing them from the equation, which is the goal. None of my brothers vote for Democrats. My mom don't vote for Democrats. Like, when you look at my family, most of them are apolitical. They're not fucking taking time out to vote. They don't give a fuck. I told you, my sister told me, she said the reason why she don't care about politics is because she knows they're full of shit. She can't write a thesis about it. She can't do a 2-hour live stream about it. You just inherently know that they're full of shit. And that's a lot of black people. And so just by saying that, oh, black people like Democrats, they're erasing so many and so disrespectful and annoying to deal with. But CJ, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll I can shout out a couple of things, but of course the segment that the thumbnail title segment, I think we can kind of get to since
we can get to that.
We're about an hour into it, and I think we can start, since it's called The Recruit. Let's just start with this 30-second video of The Recruit. And then, I know you kind of have some things you want to submit.
Yeah, we start with the video, and
and then I can pass it to you, and then whatever Rome wants to also. So let's just start there. Here is one of the videos. Now, in this video, Kyle makes reference to a longer video where he's pleading with her to run for president. So all I'm doing is showing the shorter version, Rome and Nick. This is the shorter version of that. There is a longer version of this by his own admission in this video. Go ahead, Nick. You were going to say something.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so let's get started. The Recruit, Marianne Williamson.
So entertain me here for a moment. I'm going to try to convince you that you should run for president.
I've heard you say that before.
Okay. Well, I did a whole segment on it, and I enjoyed it very much as I did it.
I think I showed you, somebody took a picture of me. It's so interesting. I showed you that picture when I was watching you doing that.
Let me, I do want to stop it here. Let me just ask, if somebody says, let me convince you to run for president, would you suffice that? Is that a good enough hurdle to cross for you to say you're recruiting somebody?
Yeah, they know what they was doing, because you already have these people with massive egos. Yeah, everyone who worship the feet the ground that you walk, and then you got all friends say, "Hey, Marianne, wouldn't it be a good idea if you ran for president?"
Right.
Don't worry, I'll give you good coverage. Don't worry, I'll go after all your haters. That's what Kyle been doing all day. Yeah, videos. I'll go after your haters. Trust me. There's gonna be a lot of energy for your movement. Wouldn't it be a good idea if you want, man? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. No, come on, man. And then let's bring you on your show. Let's talk about it. And then he asked this question. Well, they was like, they want the Bernie media industrial complex to continue so bad, because remember, Bernie said he's not running unless Joe Biden doesn't run. So to me, as far as I'm concerned, and we see if I'm right or not, I've been consistent. I even argued with Jackie on this back in the day. I said I don't think Joe Biden's gonna not run in 2024, and Bernie to me sealed it when he said he's gonna run if Joe Biden doesn't run. So that means the establishment, as long as Joe Biden has a pulse, that motherfucker is running. And remember, after the State of the Union, they were saying that up. They were saying that up as, oh yeah, this showed that he got unity among the Progressive Caucus. It showed that he did good among the workers. It showed that he's strong. So they lost the opportunity of doing Bernie again. CJ, do you remember? They were decided about the idea of Bernie running again. Vanguard did a whole video about it. Kyle did a video about it. They're like, Bernie, let's get Bernie again. We can do Bernie for a third time. Let's waste $100 million of the working class for a third time. Then Bernie looked at them and said, fuck that. No, nigga, I went Biden. What the fuck are you talking about?
Hell no.
I went Biden. So then that failed.
I did
so
my
then
job.
go to the next step. Marianne Williamson. After Bernie said no. And Marianne, they knew she had the hubris. She did before. So she's the right one for the job to continue the burning media industrial complex. But let's continue the video. There's a lot to say on this. I got a lot to say.
I do want to make a quick 10-second point, and that is, it's funny that there's some in the camp that are saying, "Oh, this doesn't qualify as recruiting." Those same people are the ones who said what happened in Vanguard video was a dirty break. Just very suspicious to me that what Marianne Williamson said in the Vanguard video in response to the question about dirty break, and she just said she told a story about Donald Trump, and they took that, oh, she's doing a dirty break. But somehow him actually saying, "Let me convince you," doesn't clear the hurdle of being recruiting. I mean, that's very bizarre to me. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead if you
if
want
this
to chime
isn't
in.
recruiting, if this isn't recruiting, then what is? Because after he just did probably an hour or two long video of sucking her fucking toes, now he's right there in front of her like, "Hey, it'd be great if you run for president." What the fuck? What is recruiting then? What is trying to convince? What is convincing? What do words even mean? That's what these liberals are saying to you. What even is words? What even, like, come on, man.
My only question, we can let the video continue since you brought it up, CJ. Did the Vanguard or anyone involved in the Marianne Williamson media campaign, did anyone ever release a retraction for them lying to their audience about Marianne Williamson and dirty break? Remember when we called it out and then they're like, "Oh my God, RBN look for..." No, we called you guys out for lying. And they were like, "Oh my God, RBN is being toxic for exposing people who are liars." Literally, no one saw the dirty break except the Marianne Williamson media complex. Everyone saw that that is not what she said, and that is not her intentions.
We got a little bit of a backlash for that too, because I did a segment, and that was actually the truth, and it's been verified subsequently in so many other interviews, our interviews, the Status Quo interview, the Jonathan Capehart interview. Go ahead, Nick.
Yes, on MSNBC, she just said she would do whatever it takes to defeat the fascist scourge in the Republican Party. So I am waiting, Vanguard, all these people, if you actually care, if you're actually serious, if you're actually a journalist, do a retraction and apology, because RBN was right about that. And they're gonna pretend that shit that didn't happen. I'm not gonna let it go because they lied on our name. They lied on our name, promoting a lie because they are liars. They are grifters who just want to take advantage of the burning media industrial complex. That's all this is. Let's continue.
So entertain me here for a moment. I'm going to try to convince you that you should run for president.
I've heard you say that before.
Okay. Well, I did a whole segment on it, and I enjoyed it very much as I did it.
I think I showed you, somebody took a picture of me. It's so interesting. I showed you that picture when I was watching you doing that, and I couldn't believe it. I cannot thank you enough.
Well, here, so let me make my case for those who
haven't. Such a hard-hitting interview. What a serious interview. What a serious interview that's in touch with the struggles of the working class that we are seeing right now.
Because I actually think it's important. So you look at Bernie Sanders in 2016 and you look at Bernie Sanders in 2020, and he definitely sparked something. He sort of awakened a generation. He ushered in this new wave of a New Deal kind of politics that reminded people that this is possible. We don't have to always be permanently stuck in the Bill Clinton model or the Barack Obama model. There's something better.
He did not do that. He depowered the entire generation and shepherded them to the Democratic Party. But let's continue.
Yeah. What's so funny, and I don't think this is too off color of a joke, but it's amazing let me clean it up. It's amazing what a woman can do to a man, how she can change him. Because what this guy was saying about Marianne Williamson pre-Crystal, and Rome is laughing because he know the phrase how could he use, but
he used to say about Crystal.
Yeah, like because Crystal has always loved her and been friends, and they get connected. Hey, my friend Marianne Williamson, and just it's not like she mind control. It's just that this is the person I'm dating. This is her friend. Now I'm have a personal relationship. Okay, I'm convinced that no, you're more spiritual, and all the stuff of me calling you kooky and crazy. Oh, that was just spiritual, and so he just changed, and he calls it maturing. I just matured because the first interview they did with each other, he had to admit, yeah, I said some stuff, and I've matured.
I'm on board now. Come on, man. I'm a good boy now. Bernie put me in timeout. Bernie put me in timeout and kicked me off my own channel, so now I'm a good boy now.
And it really got a lot of people involved in politics. Now, after 2020, you look at the way everything unfolded, and I could sit here all day and do the sour grapes thing, and I could give everybody the 1,000,001 rationalizations as to why Bernie went down. 2016, the DNC was involved. There was definitely some fuckery behind the scenes, to say the very least. 2020, I like to call it Bloody Monday, when you had Mayor Pete and Amy Klobuchar. They all dropped out on the same day, endorsed Bernie, endorsed Biden, and the media also went in and really went for the jugular and compared him to Fidel Castro, and you want the U.S. to be like Cuba. So I could do that all day. But when I look back at it now, he sparked something. It's very important, but now the torch needs to be passed.
It's not a democracy. It's not a democracy. It's torture.
Can I say something about this? Because
go ahead.
He believed his audience are dumbasses, which this is what he kind of prepped them for. But dude, that Bernie shit is over with. What torch? The flame is gone. They extinguished that motherfucker. It's gone. What torch? Ain't nobody getting back on the ground for Marianne Williamson. And not only we want to talk about, you know what I'm saying, somebody is gonna, be accepted by all and whatnot. Marianne Williamson is so unpopular that she's damn near unknown outside of these bubbles. And real shit in politics, she's damn near unknown. Somebody else, Nick just said it, just do it up on Twitter. She's only 4%. Somebody else got 7%.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that soon.
Someone else. Like this, you guys are kidding me. You're gonna run somebody that's less popular, that's to the right of Bernie Sanders, with the same strategy of Bernie Sanders. You called out and said that the DNC, you try to skip past, and it was a lot of bullshit that went on in the DNC. No, the DNC said that they pick who the fuck they want, Kyle. Why are you trying to skip over that? Why are you trying to hurry up? No, they pick who they want. They said it. So why should we waste our energy and time on a party, on a candidate that's running in a party who picks who the hell they want? Is they going to give her the favor? Even though she's more unpopular than fucking Joe Biden at the time? Get the fuck out of here. But all right.
Let's see, Jay.
And the question is, to who? For as much as I love Bernie, he does have some blind spots, in my opinion. One of those blind spots is that he's been in Washington, D.C. since roughly...
Do not love politicians. That shit is cringe. But let's continue.
1784. And when you're in D.C. that long, even with the outsider credentials that he has, through osmosis, you sort of become part of that system. And so he thinks of Joe Biden first and foremost as my friend Joe Biden, even though I have these gentlemen's ideological disagreements with him. And that's the main problem too, is that it's not gentlemen's disagreements. You're talking about the Iraq war. That's a war crime. You're talking about the Patriot Act. You're talking about a plethora of policies which have honestly led to the downfall and the destruction of this country in many ways.
That's funny, because this is the exact reason why we say the problems between the pseudo left and the real left is not just disagreements and not just infighting. And Kyle is making the point. These aren't just disagreements. We're talking about huge implications that affect the lives of thousands, if not millions of people, when we're talking about stuff like the military-industrial complex and the recent example with the Ukraine war. So just to point out the example, since he's making the point, that is the same point we make when saying this is not just some differences here.
Many respects. The reason why I think you're the heir apparent is because you're not Bernie.
What the fuck is this? This is the scourge of access journalism that goes on in quote unquote independent progressive news. Now let's continue because I'm gonna expound on that point later.
Sanders, you have agreements with him, and on many policy issues you're the same, but you actually offer people something in a particularly nihilistic age and moment.
Oh my God!
You offer people something that's
God,
different
Marianne, you're
than
so
any
great.
other
Tell us
policy.
how great you are, Marianne. Marianne, you're so brilliant. Tell us how brilliant you are. This is not journalism. This is not how you interview someone who is seeking to be commander-in-chief.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this? We started.
This is recruitment.
The idea of independent media is supposed to be counter. It's supposed to be different from the corporate media. This is the same shit that Jim Psaki did to Karine Jean-Pierre. This is the same shit that the corporate media does to Joe Biden. How is it any different? How is it any different than what MSNBC does to Democrats? Independent media is supposed to be different, not little bootlicking access journalists. But, sorry, Ron, go ahead.
Go ahead, Ron.
Nick, like we was talking about earlier, people were saying that he isn't recruiting her, but are we watching the same video? He's basically grooming her to you know what I'm saying? Like this is crazy. What is recruitment if it isn't this? You guys are trying to find every fucking excuse and reason to, you know what I'm saying? You guys are liars, man. You guys are liars, and it's sick that even some people with big platforms is lying to their people about this. Some people that I consider, you know, comrades in their own right, they're even pushing this crap. Like, no, he's literally telling her how she can be like, man, what kind of journalist does this?
You're the lead. Oh, you're the leader. You're so great. This is horrible. But let's continue, CJ, because I got more.
If anything, he should have said, you know, Marianne, you can run here and this, but you have to tighten up on this. You have to tighten up on Palestine. You have to tighten up on this. Yeah. You can be a good candidate. You will be a great candidate, but you have to tighten up and you know what I'm saying, get to the point a little bit quicker in your speeches, and you probably would be a good candidate. But you trying to, man, come on.
Yeah, they just gassing her up instead of calling out what she could be better. Like, even if you are a bootlicker like Kyle, like he's still doing it in a disgusting way. You could have constructive conversation, and our conversation easily could have been that. When I bring up this two-state solution and watch you wrong, she could easily be like, "Oh, I'm glad you bring that up. I never thought about it that way. Let me look into that a little bit later." Then that could have been the end of that. But instead, she called me a mansplainer. Instead of having a conversation about Israel and the two-state solution, why I disagree with my point, she pretty much said I was a sexist. See, because that's what happens when you don't lick her boots. That will happen when you're not in her same class. She talked to you. She talked down to you the way she talked down to me, and Kyle knows that. That's why she kissed her ring when she talks to her, because she don't want to get on her bad side. Because when Marianne storms out the interview. Right, but go ahead, CJ.
And this is, I think I had an epiphany, and I texted this to the group when I thought of it. But what RBN could be leading the cause to foil is the plan by Crystal and Breaking Points to have a presidential candidate like Marianne Williamson be sort of the launching pad that sort of puts them into the stratosphere of a TYT, kind of take them over the 1 million subscriber, get them to a half, you know, 1.5 million to 2 million. But this was the plan. You see them pivoting. They just added another new person, adding to the PB team. Another person, of course, is not. I don't need to get in that, but anyway, looks just like everybody else on the channel. Adding to the team, you see them trying to pivot, and I think this could have been the plan. Hey, let's get Marianne Williamson to run. She's my friend.
Yes.
We'll tell her we're going to go out and do all the PR for her. We're left. We're going to get all the left people to come and support you.
Yep.
And then you just come in on our channel and give us some interviews. That's going to blow our shit up. You see?
Yep. Manufactured percent. That's obvious to literally everyone except them. And that's why they don't want to say anything. Be quiet. Stop exposing our grift. But go ahead, CJ. Let's continue the video.
All right.
That I've ever seen. Now, look, I came up with not just only progressive politics and Noam Chomsky. I was also part of the new atheist movement in a way with Richard Dawkins and the whole like condescending to religious people. Like, oh, you believe that? Like, oh, you wizard in the sky, idiot. Like, I was part of that whole thing, right? But you know, as I've grown,
wait, hold on. Oh, this is the video where he admits it. I thought it was a different video. It was right here where he admits. Go ahead, Nick. You were gonna say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'll pass it to you because what Kyle brings up, he talked about how the smug liberal treats Marianne Williamson. I implore you to watch our interview and watch how Marianne Williamson smugly addressed my point. This is what I did. I explained to you guys how I asked her after wasting $100 million on the Bernie campaign, why should we do that again? That is not a rude question. I was very nice to her, very polite, and then her response to that. It's the same smug liberal voice that you did. Oh my God, if you believe that, don't vote for me. The same shit that Joe Biden did. So that smug liberal that he's mocking, she does that to the proletariat. Let's go to this comment here. All classes disdain those they believe are in lower classes lower than them. In the end, the classism of the classes always come out. It's why Marianne Williamson got salty at Nick. And you can see this MSNBC interview. You can see how the corporate media treated Marianne Williamson. They are way meaner than I was to her.
Yeah.
Guys, have you seen how corporate media have been covering her? Have you seen how Karine Jean-Pierre statement on her? They are treating her way meaner than me, but she couldn't handle me. She couldn't handle a college dropout who was politely asking her questions. And she had a meltdown. She had a fucking meltdown. Then we had a production error where CJ and Rome joined early, and then she melted down and ran. That's the person that you guys want to recruit to take out the two-party duopoly, who couldn't handle a group of black people. Are you serious? And then when I called her out for the two-state solution, she called me a mansplainer. So when the rich MSNBC anchor went after her, she didn't call him a mansplainer, but the poor black peasant. It's a sexist who's going after the poor white woman. Oh, the poor white woman can't handle the hard questions from the citizen journalist. And you guys want me to take it easy on her? Bree, you want me to take it easy on her? You guys want me to take it easy on her? A millionaire white woman who is grifting the working class. They call activists. We are poor. We didn't get paid on YouTube for a year. But they call poor activist grifters. But you got a millionaire white woman who's asking. Look at her tweet. She posting Act Blue everywhere, asking for money. Donation. But she's not a grifter. The DCCC, the Justice Democrats, and the politicians are the biggest grifters. The same energy that you guys have for me and RBN for speaking out against your nonsense is what I'm bringing to you guys. You guys call us a grifter? No. What you guys are doing is literally grifting. You guys are asking for money for a message that you do not believe in. You do not believe in. Let me show you guys this tweet here.
And promises you can't keep.
Yeah, so this is the part was fun. You know, we already covered. This is gonna be a fun part. Cause let's listen to this clip. And Kyle got ate the fuck up for this.
Oh my God. I remember this. Go ahead. I remember this.
Give me an
the audio's good. The audio's bad. Let me know it beforehand.
Give me an answer. One word. Got 3 quick questions. Number 1, can you beat Joe Biden?
Yes.
Number 2, can Joe Biden beat?
Where are your follow-up question? And I'm gonna show you guys a poll that shows why that answer is ridiculous without a follow-up question. Mr.
How?
Journalist here, Slim Shady, the Access journalist. Let's look at this.
Donald Trump again or Ron DeSantis?
No.
Number 3, can you beat Trump or DeSantis?
Absolutely. Let me in there.
Absolutely. Let me in there.
We're gonna kill it. We're gonna kill it with the views on this one. Oh my God. You know, it fell for it. What are you basing this on? I got a poll I'm gonna show you guys later. Marianne Williamson whopping 4%. This is Access journalism garbage. Garbage. This is why Marianne Williamson ran from RBN and went back to her boutique left friends, because we gave her the first hard interview she ever had, and she failed. This is the interview she is used to getting. Now, this is why my man Cal took the ratio. He took the ratio. Because it's what I am saying, even though RBN are considered the bad guys, It's obvious to everybody. So despite Kyle having 3 to 4 times more followers than me, I easily ratio him when I'm at the airport. I'm bored at the airport. See this shit? I'll post this tweet, not even thinking that much about it. Ratio them because this is obvious to everybody. This is my tweet. Pathetic how you allow her to bullshit your audience because of civility politics. Remember, I told you guys, civility politics is the enemy of the working class, but that's all they engage in. Instead of calling Marianne Williamson out for being a bullshit artist who trying to grift money from the working class people, you can't say that to her because that would be too mean. Oh my God, you're mean. That's why you're not saying that. And there's the pursuit of access journalism, which is why she gave them, as commenter pointed out earlier, she gave us 20 minutes. They had a long sit-down conversation.
Yeah, I know.
Because Marianne Williamson know they'll play nice. This is access journalism 101. And I brought up, once again, everyone knows this. 13,000 people damn near knows this. She has zero chance, and she is only here to waste working class resources. And I'm going to expound on it here later because anything you guys want to add, I got a few more things I want to add.
Let me add this right here. To your point earlier, this is what Karine Jean-Pierre, I think it's Karine with an N, Karine Jean-Pierre. This is what everybody's talking about. Now, everybody's quote tweeting this, Nick. Everybody's quote tweeting this saying, oh, look at this is terrible, and pointing out all these things about this video. But let's watch, and then we'll talk about on the other side.
Is the president annoyed, frustrated with Marianne Williamson for jumping in the race ahead of him? Did he want a clear field to run against the Republican nominee in 2024?
Just not tracking that. I mean, if I had a what is it called? A little globe here, crystal ball, and I can tell you, but I imagine 8-ball, whatever. If I can feel her aura, I just don't have anything. I just don't have anything to share on that.
And this is the moment they've been waiting for, TJ.
Is the president?
Because they are, like you said earlier, they all out quote tweeting this because they're like, yes, Biden and them acknowledged us. This is their celebration. They are putting on performance because they acting outraged about this. But this is great for them. They like, oh my God, yes, they acknowledge our existence. That's how desperate they are now. They are going after this now because they're like, see, now we're gonna use this as a narrative war. Guys, you guys are right now. Marianne Williamson is struggling. The media is mocking her. The establishment is mocking her. They set the tone for the race. Whether you guys know or not, your YouTube channel is not enough to change the perception. Then when South Carolina hit, like Biden, like you guys know South Carolina's first, right? I know you guys don't understand details and stuff like this. You guys don't think ahead of your plans, but you guys know South Carolina's first, right? So what happens when your campaign is being mocked as a joke, like it is? Then South Carolina hits, and you lose by 80 points. I know you guys don't think ahead, but think about what's going to happen here. But Marianne Williamson, she believes she's going to win on Kristen Cow. And Cow like, yeah, this is great. We're just getting started, guys. This is these people, the audacity of these people. Because I am saying what is obvious to everybody. You're going to have this person who is not enthusiastic about grassroots movement building, don't understand the utility of third-party politics, who is weak on Joe Biden, who don't know shit about foreign policy, who think Joe Biden is good. This is the person that you guys are going to have running a fire-breathing campaign against him. Let me show you guys this. Let me guys show the person they are trying to whitewash. This is the person they are trying to manufacture consent for. The fire breather that the working class needs right now is this person. After Joe Biden's bullshit speech, I never heard that man give a good speech in my life. And I know exactly what you're talking about here.
So deeply.
And in response to Biden's tweet, she said, the president of the United States gave a wonderful speech tonight. So deeply humane and competent. Thank you, Mr. President. This is the person that you guys want to run a fire-breathing campaign against Jim Crow Joe. The person who can't stop praising the fucking guy And remember the video you did a segment on with her interview with Jordan, where Jordan asked her, she like, Bernie was weak on calling out Joe Biden corruption. Will you call out Joe Biden corruption? And then she immediately started defending Joe Biden. She's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about corruption? What are you talking about? I just have disagreements with this guy. What are you talking about? She's gonna run a weak fuck campaign. And this is the person, as we showed, they recruited. This is what Danny Hypon said. Danny gonna join us on Friday. Bernie Sanders said he supports NATO and Biden in Ukraine. Marianne Williamson said she opposed Biden getting out of Afghanistan because the United States needs to help women. With left politicians like these, who need neocons? Well said. And that's the person who wants to challenge to become commander-in-chief. That's the person they recruited to become commander-in-chief. The person who's weak on foreign policy. So, guys, I want the Marianne Williamson supporters to understand this, because a lot of them their feelings are hurt. They're confused. Why are RBN going after us? Why are you going after us? Why are you exposing our grid? Why are you exposing the horrible logic that we're doing right now? Because there's a certain point where we got to make our arguments. Third-party activists have been way too weak. Why do you guys think third parties been struggling? We acknowledge that third party is a hard endeavor, right? So if we know that third party is a hard endeavor and it's hard to get that started, and we know that mutual aid systems are hard to maintain, how is it a good idea to then split the resources in half on a vanity project that mean nothing? Because this is what people like Bree and these people will say. They say, well, we can support everything. We got unlimited funds.
No, we can't.
No, the fuck we can't, you morons. Think about it like this. If it's hard for third parties to win, why would we waste funds? In my speech, I explained at Worker Strike Back, we need class traitors. What you guys are doing is punting the ball. You're on your own, guys. I'm going to spend some more resources and funds over here doing some stupid bullshit. And you guys want us to stay quiet on this? So once again, I mostly stay in my lane, vibing, making the argument as a third-party mutual aid activist why we cannot waste funds. We are not the Democrats, okay? We are not the Democrats and the Republicans who have unlimited amount of money. They can do all those crazy experiments and bullshit messaging campaigns. They can waste all the money in the world. We can't. What don't you guys understand about that? We wasted $250 million over the course of the last over 5 years because of the Bernie campaign. That could have went to building libraries. That could have went to the working class. Could have gave people clothes. Could have gave people homes. Could have went to a food drive. There's no fucking water in Jackson, Mississippi. But you want to send your money to a multi-millionaire white woman who want to sell more books later? This is deeply unserious. And you guys want RBN to be nice to you guys because you thought we were friends? This is stupid shit. We didn't get into this to make friends. CJ, what we tell you guys? We was activists first, and we have a YouTube channel as activists that thankfully is jumping off now, right? But we are activists first. We are not here to join your club. We are not here to join your Bernie Sanders grift. So let me get to this here, because I've been making the argument aggressively on Twitter. Because I am a mutual aid activist, and that is what you should do if you're serious about this. So this is Breandre Gray, friend of the show, right? Who said this? And I have no problems with people going after who want to debate, and this is why I don't even consider it personal. But this is an education moment. Bree says, no one has to like or support Marianne, but repeatedly claiming she has been recruited is odd, which is why we showed the booty left literally recruiting Marianne Williamson. My question being, though, is why are we going towards the recruitment angle when I'm on my Twitter page? I'm just chilling. I'm at the airport just chilling, talking shit, vibing, and exposing how, like I said in my interview, Marianne Williamson is weak on Joe Biden. So why are we even shifting the conversation about recruitment? Because if I'm being 100% honest, I am pro recruitment because we need a strategy as a working class Like, if there's someone powerful who want to start a third-party movement and campaign, and he said, I'll run on ballot, like, oh, go ahead, you got my blessing. Especially if they're powerful. Someone like Chris Smalls, Rome, like someone who actually organizes a third party, they got my support. That's where my support for third parties come from. The argument that we are making is that Marianne Williamson is not that person.
Right.
What do you guys not understand about this? The reason why she's not that person is because of the tweet that you quote tweeted. This embarrassing tweet is one of many reasons why she is not. So that's what this is about. Doing so reframes her as, is this the best imaginable candidate, instead of, is there any value to this candidate running? No, I did not reframe it. My argument is there is no value, Bree. And that is what Kshama Sawant, Chris Hedges, and these people explained to you multiple times.
Yeah.
How many times have you did a show with Kshama Sawant and Chris Hedges where they told you why it's a waste of time to organize in the Democratic Party, and you retain none of that information? That's why people are side-eyeing you when you say one thing and your messaging is completely different when it comes to your friends like Marianne Williamson. So they said Marianne Williamson simply chose to run, but you didn't have to support her. You could have been honest and told her that this is a waste of time, right? But you did not do that because she's your friend. Many people, despite their disagreements with Marianne, will find value in there being any alternative to the Biden campaign, no matter how flawed, even if electoralism is their focus. No one has to give Marianne Williamson money or time. This is the argument. You guys are siphoning resources from third-party movements. And there's a certain point where we have to make the argument. Are we supposed to just say, oh my God, okay, just go ahead and waste your money as people are starving? You guys are sending money to Marianne Williamson instead of Jackson, Mississippi? Of course we're going to look at you and say that's stupid. That's what we're supposed to do. I know you guys are not used to that in your civility politics, DC bubble. Like, this is how you guys don't call people out for ridiculous shit. But I'm from the Midwest and we do. And he said, I don't understand the choice of focus here. And I'm going to explain this again. The choice of focus is advocating for my position, the position that we should endorse and put all our energy into mutual aid, third parties. I'm not into electoral politics, but if you're going to do electoral politics, at least do third parties. That's the point here. So this is this is one of my sponsors here. Why should serious activists be okay with this? Like, they say, oh, come on, we got a different strategy with you guys. You guys are privileged. I don't have healthcare right now. You guys know that? I'm on my trip to fucking Seattle, like, goddamn, hope I don't get hurt. We don't got time for you guys bourgeoisie stupid experiments that waste resources. We don't have that. And this is why I said earlier, Shama explained to you on your show multiple times. And this is pretty much what I signed up here. This is the argument that she's shifting the conversation away from. That's why she brought up recruitment. Like, if you disagree with that statement, that's not what I'm talking. That's not what we're talking about. I'm gonna read this part again. The Marianne Williamson campaign hurts the working class by siphoning revolutionary energy and resources away from mutual aid, third party, and other actions. This is a game to a lot of you guys. I'm just saying that in general, unless you got mad at me saying that. I'm gonna show you guys that later. But we don't have to waste. We don't have time. I'll typo there. We don't have time to waste on stupid ass vanity projects that's going to. I really fucked this up. I was at the airport wasting this. But I said, what you're gonna do? You're just gonna demoralize the left and embolden the Democratic Party, and that's exactly what happened. When Bernie lost, remember the energy, the sapping of the. Remember all the people that were depressed. I'm done with politics. I'm fucking can't do this no more. Oh my God, we lost again. You guys suffer embarrassing defeats on behalf of the working class. Then the establishment says, oh my God, Bernie lost again. Nina lost to what's name? Oh my God, look how unpopular the left is. Ha ha. You lost our game. You guys demoralize the left. You guys demasculate the left. That's the point that you guys are missing. And then neoliberalism is emboldened because then Joe Biden and the Democratic establishment said, we beat the socialists. We beat the socialists. They played our game and we beat them. And now They're endorsing us and they're backing us up. Because another point I made is that third parties does not stop after you endorse. Bernie gave up and quit after Super Tuesday. Whether you agree with them or not, the Green Party, Libertarian Party was there to the end making their message. And then after the election, the movement keeps going. But what did Nina Turner did? She dropped her fucking movement and made a YouTube channel. Bernie Sanders now, Joe Biden cuck. Under the Democratic Party, the movement dies. What we're advocating for is a movement that keeps going no matter what happens every 2 to 4 fucking years. And I've said this before. Shama explained this to you multiple times. Multiple times. How many times do we got here these analyses that explain why Democratic Party is a waste of time, but they keep doing the same stuff over and over again. They keep doing this insanity, and then when we call it the insanity, they act like we're rude. I know I'm going on a long tangent here, but this is Bree's last response, and I can't emphasize this enough. I was just vibing at the airport. Wasting time, making my argument as a mutual aid third-party activist. And Bree asked for this debate and this conversation because there's a lot of Bree fans who got their feelings hurt over these exchanges. And I'm like, go back. It wasn't me who started it. If you can't handle the heat, stay out of the kitchen. I am not on you motherfuckers' timeline talking shit. I don't even read my timeline. Most of the time, it's just me making the argument. And then you guys start, and then you guys say we too mean. So this is what Bree says. I asked Shama repeatedly whether leftists should sit out a 2024 election and simply not vote and not engage, which I happen to think is a legitimate choice. But both she and Chris Hedges said no.
Hold on, before you say anything, because I've been holding my tongue to make this point. This is so misleading.
Yes,
I don't think Bree is. I hope that Bree is not doing it intentionally because
she already misled people about the dirty break too.
I know, but I'm trying to be nice. I hope she's not being misleading here because for her to bring that in as if Shama Sawant and Chris Hedges are saying to participate and somehow electorally in the blue game, that is not at all what that interview was about whatsoever. Exactly. And the participation, it's like saying, oh, what should we do? I'm not saying we should sit out. Okay. What other options could there possibly be, Bree? How about voting green? Like you say you do all the time. There's so many other options of not sitting out that doesn't involve the Democratic Party. And that's what that interview was about. And that's what the point that Chris and Shama was making, not to say to participate in the Democratic Party. And I have the video queued after this, Nick, and I'm going to play it for you.
So what's going on, Bree? Because this is the third time
I just wanted to say.
The third time. Go ahead, Roman. I'll explain.
I just wanted to say, like, me personally, I feel like wasting any second, any breath on electoral politics is a waste of time. Even talking about it wastes our time and ages us. If we was involved with all this bullshit, Williamson tried to skip over earlier. The DNC control who they want. You know what I'm saying? They pick who they want. So why should we even, waste our time in something like that? Where you have no power, you have no say-so of the outcome, and you know it. Legally, they said this shit, man. Why are y'all sitting here wasting time? Because it makes you feel good. Like on Twitter earlier, they said, at least some people would say, "Oh, I'm working and I don't have time to do all that revolutionary shit. All I can do is vote." At least admit to that. But don't say, "Oh, we can find a path. This is the way." No, it's not. Because, dude, the left to where is that and where it should? You know what I'm saying? From you guys are pitiful. You only that you move to the right. You are campaigning behind a right winger, basically. She's just a woman. She loves war. You know what I'm saying? Like all this dumb shit. Now you campaigning for a closet right winger. and telling us that you're not pulling people to the right, telling us that you're moving people to the left, and this is for the left movement. No, it's not. How? How is this left anyway? You know, and what I want to say, you know, because I just put out a video earlier with these huge platforms who make excuses for politicians with power and why we shouldn't be out there creating our own fucking power. These people have millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands they can just throw into some shit, right? How am I still a poor man in fucking Detroit building libraries and, you know, infrastructure and shit for my people, parties and militias? I got time. I got enough power to do that. I don't have money though. All I have is word of mouth, which they do also. So you telling me that, you know, I'm just saying, if everybody took that route, took the revolutionary route, who had those platforms from Kyle Kalinske to whoever the fuck, we would be somewhere right now. We would have we would be making real fucking noise. And you guys always trying to talk about the damn debate stage. People don't give a fuck about politics. The majority of Americans don't give a fuck about politics. They're not tuning into the debate stage. You know where the debate stage is? It's on the motherfucking ground. That's where the majority of people are at. That's where the workers are at. That's where the homeless people are at. That's where the people go when they get out of prison. That's where the majority of the people is, which is non-voters. That is our audience. And you are only as powerful as your base. So if you want your fucking word to get out there, then get your ass out there. Get your ass out there. Stop depending on some mouthpiece to talk for you. Because what happens when a mouthpiece go out and talk for you? They talk against you.
Yeah,
they started to talk against you, right? Just like, oh well, yeah, let's give more money to Ukraine. Oh shit, I don't support that. Yeah, they start to talk against you. So get out there and organize. You people always talk about, oh, we need to get organized. Well, organize. But a lot of you people want to admit it, but you're scared. Actually scared of these people. You're actually scared to get on the ground. You don't have any heart. You don't have any revolutionary spirit.
Yeah,
I'm gonna just be real.
Yeah, let me try to get through this tweet thread here because I want to make sure I get through this here. Bree also said, I want to make sure I don't kill my train of thought. Shama asked, and because this is the part where she brought Shama, who I just talked to. That's why I'm like, you realize you sent this tweet to me while I'm at the airport, coming from talking to Shama, where the topic of Marianne Williamson definitely came up. So what are you doing here? It's beyond me. And I was literally, when I saw her say this, my jaw hit the floor like, Bree, oh no, what are you doing? Because you know that Shama did not say that she said that we should engage, but not through the Democratic Party. What are you saying? And I'm not going to say this for Shama, and that's why my response here was, if you're so confident, invite her on. I just had a conversation, and definitely we was having fun. This topic definitely came up.
Yeah, bring
you're
her
100% sure, Bree, that Shama is okay with this strategy, invite her on, have another conversation where you don't retain the information.
Yeah,
and we can see what the stands on it. But as I said before, in my last part, I didn't want to break the segment up too much. Nobody is telling people not to engage in electoral politics. I know people who like Rome and Misty are to my left, which I love them for that. Who had different takes. My number is like 10-15%. I believe that you should engage in ballot initiatives if that's available in your state. If you have a third party that's available in your area, or you want to build one, that's a way to build your movement of the workers, engage in mutual aid while having someone on the ballot. That's just my personal belief. There are people to the left of that, and there are people to the right of that. But these people keep strawmanning us. When they say, oh my God, so you guys don't want to engage? We're not engaging? That's why Shama said, yes, we should engage, but not Democrats. You know she wasn't saying that. Absolute last point, I'll pass to you guys for any last summary. Because
I have the video to back that up.
Yeah, and I'll pass to you guys. I know I ran like a mug, but this is why Cal and what they was doing was access journalism. Because they asked him, Marianne, do you have a chance against Joe Biden? Yes, ha ha ha. Man, she's real bold. She really believes she can do it. And they keep saying, oh my God, they manufacture consent around the masses wanting Marianne Williamson with no evidence of that. The only source of that is coming from them. Oh, I heard that Cal said that he supported Marianne Williamson. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I heard Bree support him too. Yeah, that's great. I heard Crystal Ball support. That's great. There's no one in the streets in the hood that's looking for Marianne Williamson. Who are you guys talking about? Dude, I was at worker strike back, and the idea of Marianne Williamson was a joke. Spoiler alert. Everyone considered it a joke there. Are you guys talking to activists? Who are you guys talking to? So this is the reality. And I'm not saying polls are the be-all to end all. But if you guys are going to say stuff, back it up with at least one data point. One data point. I am asking you guys to use one data point for the love of God. So here's one. Biden leads Marianne Williamson by 73 points. 73.
It's not showing if you're trying to show that on the screen.
Oh, sorry. Let me.
Yeah, we don't see it.
Here it is.
There we go.
Biden leads Marianne Williamson by 73 points. Are you going to bring that up to your audience, Bree? Crystal, Kyle, Vanguard, anyone? Because I feel like, and this is me being a rational thinker, I feel like our resources should go to anyone instead of someone who's at 4%. Running against a president that everyone considered that election to be a joke. You guys know how much of a joke this is? Literally, someone else is polling 2 times higher than Marianne Williamson. They asked, who do you want? Marianne Williamson, Joe Biden. Over 2 times more people who picked Marianne Williamson said someone else. But you guys recruited her because you guys think it's a good idea. You guys got your posts on the streets. Bree, Crystal Ball, they got their posts in the hood. They know what the niggas want. If you can't handle the heat, stay out of the kitchen. That's my last thoughts. Go ahead, guys.
Yeah, so I do have Shama Sawant and Chris.
I got it
on. Go. Oh, you about to go? You gotta go. Go ahead. Oh, Rome, are you frozen? Hello?
Yeah. It's glitching for me bad. I tried to stick it out, man. I'm watching on my phone and I'm live here, so I'm just watching my phone, man. I don't know. Comcast might be fucking up around my neighborhood or something. I don't know.
All right, hey, I
just want to say one more thing before I go.
Go ahead.
Yeah. When you guys done with all your support, giving all your time and your money, remember, when you're giving money to a political candidate, there's no refund.
Yes.
So don't get mad. Don't get mad because you're going to feel cheated. You're going to feel cheated. When she come out and say, oh, I'm not going to run third party, I'm not going to get on that debate stage, or I'm not, when they deny her access to the debate stage, even if she does have enough, credentials and whatnot, then, and she don't fight it, don't ask for no refunds. Thank RBN. That's what you do. Thank RBN for warning you.
That's such a great point that Rome makes. When this is all over and Joe Biden is the nominee again, when the sitting president is the nominee again, all of y'all can thank RBN and some of our comrades for saying, hey, thank you for saving $100. Because the last election, I sent in $100 altogether, but I saved $100 and I needed it because that bought me 10 eggs, 10 dozen of eggs. So you'll be able to thank us, but let's listen to this here. And we'll listen to about 2 minutes of it. And she makes the point. I've clipped this out and you've seen it on Twitter millions of times if you follow me on Twitter.
An entirely hypothetical point in the sense that the same instincts that lead people to think that, oh, I should run Democrat because then I can get whatever debate, airtime, whatever, are the instincts that tell you not to then say, I'm not going to support Biden. I'm going to launch a political organization of my own. Do you see what I'm saying? I mean, the two go together. I have never seen, I'm happy to be proven wrong, but I don't think it happens from a political analysis standpoint that you will run as a Democrat knowing what they are and then be play some sort of Trojan horse role in order to bring people out of the Democratic Party. It doesn't work that way. And furthermore, there's a deeper problem with that, because when you run your campaign as a Democrat What message are you telling people? Are you telling people, vote for me, even though this party, which I am going to tell you next year, I'm going to tell you how rotten this party is, but this year I'm going to run as a candidate in this party. It doesn't, you see what I'm saying? It doesn't work that way. If you're going to be really bringing working people along with you and really fight for something, you cannot do it on the basis of, oh, I'll keep this
one ear
secret.
out the
No,
other.
you do it on the basis of the full truth.
And it's funny. It's funny you say that, because I think the first time I covered it, I actually made that observation in that segment at the time. I think it could have been another segment, but I think it was the initial time I covered it. So let's finish out. It's about another minute and a half.
Have the confidence in the workers that they will come with you despite the fact that maybe what you're saying is unorthodox. You know, I never ran as a Democrat. I have repeatedly been told by all kinds of people, including some who are elected now, that, oh, you should run as a Democrat. That's the key to success. Well, no, absolutely not. And I'll also tell you that, you know, going back to your original question about Nina Turner, AOC, and so on, I mean, the problem with all these people is that they have been Democrats and they've been progressive Democrats, but they have completely failed to challenge the Democratic elite. And so ultimately, it is a question of whether you're going to, in your campaign, not sometime later, in your campaign, are you going to have a fighting message of what kind of politics?
But she's not listening.
Because I can very easily.
So this is the point that I made, because this is the point that I made, and I'll make it again. She's trying to say there's a different way, and Bree keeps bringing them back. No, well, electoralism, and it's so funny because this interview, it's about Marianne Williamson.
Yep.
But it was at the time her hypothetically. So did Bree know at this time that Marianne Williamson was running? Because if you go to the video, it's titled, Should the Left Primary Joe Biden? It's a picture of Marianne Williamson as the cover.
Now she's trying to pretend that no one knew.
Easily imagine.
Yeah. Here, man.
In a world where you launch your campaign, you say, I'm running on the Democratic ticket only because I want to have access to all of the benefits of running on the Democratic ticket. I need ballot access. I want to be on the debate stage. I want to be actually heard and not marginalized in the way that candidates like Jill Stein and Ralph Nader have been vandalized.
The Democratic Party won't let you, the Democratic Party, again, that's why I'm saying this is hypothetical, because if you did have a candidate like that who said, I'm running as a Democrat, but I'm running to crush the Democratic Party. I am running only to get the benefits of the logistics, but politically, I am completely antagonistic to the Democratic Party's agenda, which is the Wall Street agenda. Then the Democratic Party will find another creative way of keeping you off the books. They'll even pass a new bylaw in their, whatever, the DNCC saying you can't attend the debates or whatever. And what I'm saying is that it can't happen. They will come up with something else.
Let's play this out.
You see, and at the time I was saying, Bree is refusing to let this point go. And it was unusual. And it makes complete sense to me now. If you know that Marianne Williamson is going to be running.
Yep.
It makes complete sense why she kept belaboring this specific point. And if you go to my stream, I remember going, why does Bree keep belaboring this point? I felt like she was trying to make something like, oh, if somebody does a dirty break, and this is probably another reason why Bree had to sort of fib and act like she was saying dirty break, because in this video, she's trying to say, what if there's a candidate that's running as a Democrat, but they're doing a dirty break? This is the point that she's trying to make right here to Shama.
Because what we're juxtaposing is a world where Bernie did it pretty much what he did in 2016 or 2020, but instead of endorsing Biden after 5 days or whatever it was, he says, no, I'm going to start a new party. In a world where Ralph Nader or Jill Stein had the campaigns that they had, at the end of which they did, what they did, they continue to be obviously Green Party advocates and third party advocates, but didn't result in the same kind of political traction or movement energy or enrolling in DSA or whatever these organizations that the Bernie.
What do you mean? Bernie Sanders got exactly nothing. You see how we let the professional managerial class determine what was a successful campaign, and what was successful to them is enrollment in a DSA. Have you thought about what the DSA has been doing for the last 2 years since this enrollment? Plus 12,000 DSA members have left the DSA in the last year. Go ahead, Nick.
Well said, CJ. But remember the question I asked during my speech? Remember, Shama and the Worker Strike Back told me people, they're like, guys, there's going to be a lot of Democrats there, Nick. Not going to be like your crowd. I asked them, what did we get from the Bernie Sanders movement? And they all said nothing. The professional managerial class, you guys keep making this argument that the Bernie Sanders campaign was a great victory for the working class, and you guys completely made that up. What are you guys based that on?
Off of I was just off of their own success, off of their own channels, Nick. It was a great success for Rational National, who went from 40,000 subscribers to over 100 for a Humanist Report. Say all of them. That's the great success that they're talking about, that they're trying to duplicate with this recruiting of Marianne Williamson, and we just called it out.
Remember, I was vibing at the airport, guys. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So I think it's like 45. Let's let Bree finish her point, and then
I got one more last thing, and then we can wrap this
Bernie
up.
2016 campaign resulted in. And I guess what I'm asking is, why are we so confident that the kind of Jill Stein, the route that we've seen manifested before from third-party candidates, is going to be more effective than a world where a Bernie-style figure manages to capture all of the energy because they are seen and heard and resonate with a large portion of the population that is disgruntled, and then has the temerity because they are a sincere outsider. Let's say someone who isn't elected in a congressperson, neither Marianne Williamson or Nina Turner are, then went ahead and pivoted. I mean, I hear what you're saying about some skepticism. We never know what someone's going to do in the 11th hour. But it seems like the possibility that might work out seems higher than the real life outcomes.
Why does that seem higher? And I can stop it here. Why does that seem higher? From the professional managerial standpoint, they keep saying it's a higher chance. How is that when David Sirota said he's been working at the same job for 30 years? Where is this logic? You are just saying stuff. It has no evidence behind it. Go ahead, Nick. That's my.
If you watch the clip, Chris Hedges doubled down on Shama's position.
He was nice. I mean, she was nice. Nicer.
Yeah. For the sake of time, we're gonna cut it there. But the whole conversation is Shama Sawant and Chris Hedges putting Bree on the defense and saying, no, we don't support this bullshit of having anyone in the Democratic Party. So let's see, once again, now that we saw that video, let's go back to Bree's assessment, which is unbelievable to me. Because this is why I said, Shama explained this to you. Why I just said, why the Marianne Williamson campaign is a waste of time. And she said she don't understand. And I am posting this in response to her tweet, where she said, I don't understand the choice of focus here. So I explained it to you. She didn't like it. So she said, let me go back to the other one. Here we go. So after you guys heard that video, let's see how true this statement sounds. I asked Shamas repeatedly whether leftists should sit out of 2024 election and simply not vote and engage, which I happen to think is a legitimate choice. Both she and Chris Hedges said no. Maybe you should take a beat before firing off patronizing tweets.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't see this. I didn't see this at all.
Patronizing. So I'm a woman. I'm a mansplainer to Marianne Williamson. Now I'm patronizing to the Harvard lawyer.
No, you know what that is? You know what happens when you go to Harvard or you are part of the professional managerial class and a worker who has no education and don't make half the money you make talks to you and makes a great point, then you feel some type of way. That's what happens.
I was extremely kind. Only thing I did, I explained what was objectively true. You asked Shama Sawant and Chris Hedges, they explained this on your show, and you apparently didn't retain it. That's an objective fact, as we just laid out. So where was I patronizing?
She's taking the retaining part.
Anna Kasparian did this. Marianne Williamson did this. Now Bree did it. I am a poor black guy in the Midwest explaining politics to these people, and they accuse me of being patronizing, mansplaining, and all this other garbage, because they can't address my points. And
She
I have
doesn't
the
like.
right.
She doesn't
I have
like.
the right.
Let me tell you, Nick.
CJ, just one quick second. So I'll back to you. But I have the right to be kind of upset at this, right? Because I am a guy with no power, no health care. The only thing I got is clout. You guys think clout pays the bills? You guys think clout is give me the lifestyle that you guys are living? That's all I have. But you guys keep accusing me of being patronizing and sexism. I know you guys live on the West Coast. I know you're from Harvard. I know you're from bourgeoisie, civility, politics, love, and culture. But this is how people in the Midwest speak. If you coming at me with a disagreement, which I have no problem with, I had no problem with you until the entire thing. This whole thing, I'm like, okay, me and Bree just having a sparring contest, right? It's cool. Like, it's all good. We disagree on this one point. It's all good. Then you come out with this tweet where you're acting offended. Where now you're making it a fucking drama thing where niggas being patronizing. Why don't you take down a beat? You don't want, if you can't handle the heat, stay out of the kitchen. I was vibing at the airport, doing my goddamn thing, making my argument as a mutual aid activist and third-party activist why we shouldn't waste our money on a multi-millionaire grifter like Marianne Williamson. You chimed in. And then I explained to you why you're wrong, and now I'm patronizing now. Enough of this PMC garbage. We are not here to be your guys' friends. We are here to advocate for our positions. If you don't like it, if you don't like our language, if you don't like how a college dropout Midwesterner, speak, don't engage. I don't ask for the engagements. I do my own fucking thing. You guys ask for it. So don't fucking call. Marianne Williamson asked to come on my show. Then she said I'm mansplaining to her. You responded to my tweet and I've been patronizing. Enough of this PMC garbage. That's why I don't trust this shit. I don't trust this nonstop civility politics. I ain't in there because we about 2 hours in. CJ, any last thoughts? I think I made my point.
Yeah, you know, I'm done on the topic. You have broke it. I mean, we in the segment we broke it down pretty succinctly with evidence, backed up by video evidence of their own. Your own content, Kyle and Bree. This is your content that we are getting to back up our point against what both of you are saying. Your own video talking about you, Kyle, recruiting. Your own video, Bree, in bad faith, where Shama and Chris are saying hell no to the Democratic Party, but still participate. But somehow, when it gets to your tweet, you miss that part. So, again, this is not a fight from our point of view.
I'm good.
Yeah, this is not a fight from our point of view. This is when I said this, Nick, and I don't know if you remember when you, me, and Sabby went on the bad faith, and I said Marianne Williamson is going to be a fight that is not going to be pretty. And I knew.
Yeah, we already knew.
I knew at that time that Bree was going to be having her back, and I'm saying, if that's what you're going to die on, I have no problem. I have no problem slaying you the same way I slay anybody. That's my makeup. I'm from the shit, you my comrade, to you're not my comrade is how I look at it. So, like I said, this is not a fight with her. This is making a point, and we unapologetically, if this wasn't Bree and this wasn't Marianne, let's say these were just two different people, but they set the same background, same influence, we will be saying the same thing. Because we are advocating for the working class and the working and poor. And this particular campaign, this one, not just any random, the Marianne Williamson campaign is targeting the finances of the working class. That means we have to be here, and we will defend that. Well, so that's my last word on that.
Yeah.
I do got to get going soon, unless you got something else. Yeah,
me too. So my quick announcements, and I'll let you close this out. For people who didn't hear earlier, Danny Hyphon will be joining us on Friday. Jimmy Dore will be joining us on Saturday. Both of that be 3 p.m. Eastern time, respectively. So we got a lot of great guests coming through, and I'll have more coming next week. Coming back from Seattle and worker strike back, hitting it hard here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Please like and subscribe if you guys do. Thank you guys for watching. CJ end us here. Have a good one, y'all.
Yeah, I'll let's see. I'll play a quick little outro video to take us out. And I think there's two stories: the China story and the Cop City story. We will push until tomorrow, so stay tuned for those stories. But let's bring up the closing video. I think we'll go ahead with Mohammed.
It has been said that I have two alternatives: either go to jail or go to the army. But I would like to say that there is another alternative, and that alternative is justice.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Muhammad Ali has just refused to be inducted into the United States Armed Forces.
He refused induction on the grounds of his religious convictions on war.
My conscience won't let me go shoot my brother or some poor hungry people in the mud for big powerful America and shoot them for what? They never called me nigger.
You know, Muhammad Ali is really important in this because when Ali refuses induction, there's a famous column in the New York Times written by Tom Wicker where he just wonders out loud what would happen if you had 100,000 Muhammad Alis. If you had 100,000 people who were prepared to do what Muhammad Ali just did, you would bring this war to a stop. So the draft resistors set that kind of as a goal.
It took an all-white jury less than a half hour to find Muhammad Ali guilty of all charges and specifications. He was sentenced to the maximum, 5 years in prison, and was fined $10,000.
I find nothing amusing or interesting or tolerable about this man. He's a disgrace to his country, his race, and what he laughingly describes as his profession. He has been found guilty. He is out on bail. He will inevitably go to prison, as well he should. He's a simplistic fool and a pawn.
Do you share the same concern that Muhammad has for his draft status?
Oh, I certainly do. My views on the draft are very clear. I'm against it. And I think the sooner our country does away with the draft, better it will be for everybody.